On July 17, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight MH17 took off from Amsterdam's Schiphol airport en route to Kuala Lumpur. It was a routine intercontinental flight carrying 283 passengers and 15 crew members, families, tourists, business travellers from 17 different countries. Among them were children on summer holiday, scientists heading to a global AIDS conference, and couples returning home. It was an ordinary day until it wasn't. 3 hours into the flight, as the aircraft cruised high above Eastern Europe, a catastrophic event occurred. The Boeing 777 vanished from radar. Moments later, wreckage rained down across miles of farmland near the village of Hrebov in war-torn eastern Ukraine. There were no survivors. In this video, we examine the heartbreaking story of MH17, how it happened, why it happened, and the global shockwave it caused. Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 departed at 12:31 p.m. local time. The aircraft was cruising comfortably at 33,000 feet. The route over Ukraine was part of a standard corridor used by multiple international carriers. At the time, civil aviation authorities had only closed airspace up to 32,000 feet due to ongoing conflict below. Anything above that was considered safe by international regulations. Ukraine was embroiled in a fierce conflict between government forces and pro-Russian separatists. The Donbas region was at the heart of the fighting, with anti-aircraft weapons in active use. Military aircraft had been shot down in recent weeks. Yet, no one imagined a commercial airliner could be targeted. The risk seemed remote. MH17 wasn't alone. Many other flights were passing through the same corridor that day. At 4:20 p.m. local time, as MH17 flew near Donetsk, a Buk surface-to-air missile system locked onto the jet. The 9M38 missile, designed to destroy fast-moving military aircraft, launched from a mobile unit stationed in separatist-controlled territory. In seconds, it ascended at supersonic speed. The missile struck just outside the cockpit on the left side, detonating a proximity warhead filled with high-energy fragments. The cockpit was torn apart instantly. The pilots had no time to react. The fuselage broke apart mid-air. Passengers and crew were thrown into the sky as the aircraft disintegrated. Bodies, luggage, and twisted wreckage plummeted across a wide area. Debris was scattered across fields, homes, and roads near Hrebov. Local residents ran to the site, many in shock. What they found was beyond comprehension: passports, toys, personal belongings, and silent chaos. All 298 people on board were killed. Among the victims were 80 children, 193 Dutch citizens, and dozens of prominent researchers, including world-renowned AIDS experts. Entire families perished together. In the aftermath, access to the crash site was difficult. The region was under the control of armed separatists who were initially hostile to investigators. For days, bodies remained exposed in the summer heat. International observers and journalists were obstructed. Some evidence was allegedly looted or tampered with. Despite these challenges, an international investigation was launched, led by the Dutch Safety Board and supported by teams from Australia, Malaysia, Ukraine, and others. The Dutch report confirmed a Russian-made Buk missile caused the destruction of MH17. Metallurgical analysis, radar data, and recovered fragments left no doubt. The Joint Investigation Team, or JIT, traced the launcher to the Russian 53rd Anti-Aircraft Brigade, based in Kursk. The launcher had been transported into Ukraine and quickly returned to Russia after the attack. The operation was deliberate, though the target, MH17, may have been misidentified as a military aircraft. In 2022, a Dutch court convicted 3 men, 2 Russians and 1 Ukrainian, for their role in deploying the missile system. They were tried in absentia. The downing of MH17 stunned the international community. Candlelight vigils were held in the Netherlands, Malaysia and beyond. Flags flew at half-mast. Entire school classes had lost friends. Scientific communities mourned the loss of their colleagues. Anger turned to political fallout. Western governments accused Russia of supplying separatists with advanced weaponry. Russia, in turn, denied involvement, blaming Ukraine and circulating alternative theories. The European Union and the United States intensified sanctions against Russia. MH17 became a symbol of civilian vulnerability in geopolitical conflict. For families of the victims, grief was deepened by the slow legal process and denial of responsibility. Some parents still cling to hope for more accountability. The tragedy of MH17 led to significant changes in aviation policy. Airlines began rerouting flights away from active conflict zones, even when airspace was technically open. Aviation authorities adopted new risk assessment frameworks. The International Civil Aviation Organization improved protocols for sharing intelligence about regional conflicts. A database was created to flag potentially dangerous zones. But for many, these changes came too late. Memorials have been erected around the world. In the Netherlands, a large sculpture garden honors each life lost. In Kuala Lumpur, a dedicated wall bears the names of the passengers. Some families visit these sites every year, bringing flowers, pictures and letters. Malaysia Airlines Flight MH17 should have been just another flight, but it became a moment frozen in time, a stark reminder that even at 33,000 feet, war can reach the innocent. The victims of MH17 were not soldiers. They were children, students, teachers, scientists, sons, daughters, people from all walks of life. Their story reminds us that the cost of conflict is never just political, it is deeply human. We remember the 298 souls lost that day. May they never be forgotten. If this story moved you, subscribe for more in-depth aviation documentaries. And thank you for watching.